Hey, stay right there. You are here for a startup interview where someone has created from zero to a hero with over 480 million users worldwide, especially from the developing countries, where we all think, oh, internet is not working and it's slow. And how do I do this? Because in the West and other European countries and all the developed countries have all those facilities. I wish I am there. However, my today's guest is no, come on. He studied in America and went back into his homeland and actually thought through how we all could solve that challenge you are facing. I'm talking about. In fact, world is facing all the challenges. He is an entrepreneur by heart and a startup owner from zero to 480 million users, impacting their life, making it easier, faster, and better every day. And he is no other than Steve Gu. Please welcome Steve from Beijing, China. That's a new Silicon Valley for world, I would say. Why? Because it's emerging. The people are focusing, studying in America and going back and actually going to his roots and travel around the world. Please welcome Steve. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Siddique. It is an honor to be on your show.
I'm so glad you came, and let's start with this. Steve, where were you? What happened? Who you are surrounded with that inspired you to actually start Zapya?
Well, okay, first, Zapya is initially started as a file sharing app. And we started by 3 co-founders. I'm one of the co-founder. We all started from Silicon Valley. And we, 3 of us all have engineering background. There was 2 of us have engineering background from Berkeley and also from Stanford. So our background was more in telecommunication, the networking industry. So back in 2011, when the Android OS was just started, when there was Android OS 2.0, and we found an opportunity, we found a kind of window of opportunity that exists on the Android phones. At that time, that there is expanding wireless capabilities on Android phones. And our previous experience in my previous company and also another founder, that we were working on the Wi-Fi mesh. So we were experienced engineer and also probably salespeople in terms of making the Wi-Fi equipment. So we saw the same capability that would exist on the smartphones. That was back in 2011. And so we thought we could duplicate what we have achieved in terms of Wi-Fi mesh systems and put it on this small Android phones, and we can create a connectivity between devices in close proximity. And once you have that, you don't even need internet. You can do lots of fun applications like file sharing, like playing interactive games, like interactive chatting within this close proximity. So this is more like a device-to-device or person-to-person network in close proximity without internet. So that's when we saw the opportunity, and with our previous experience, we want to jump on into this. And that's how we started. We started back in Silicon Valley. We did a demo and got some funding. Then we came back to China. And that was just a kind of a dive for making a bet. And so far, it kind of it made it okay. So we did expand the product. We created this whole file sharing in Android market. And now we have a large user base. We are doing very well in China. We're expanding overseas.
Thank you so much. And let me ask you a follow-up question. Why not in Silicon Valley? That's where mostly the startups. You started from there and then went back to reaching China. Why? Why? Because you could have continued over there too. Just curious to know. I'm a curious mind.
Right. Okay. One is China is a huge market. One of our co-founder, my partner, Frank Wang, he was also a serial entrepreneur back in China before. So we got a funding from kind of a mutual VC fund, and they are already based in China. So they asked us to move to China. One is for the market, the size of the market, and second is for the talent, and also relatively low cost comparing to the US market. So back in 2011, when we went back, at that time, the end of 2011, there were first time crossed 100 million smartphone users in China. And China has 1.3 billion people. So we figure, that was the beginning. We figured that sooner or later, everyone will have a smartphone on their hands. And going from 100 million to 1.3 billion, it will happen. It just take a matter of years. We think about it 4 years, 5 years. So that is a window of opportunity. And every year it will have at least 100% growth. So that was just opportunity we couldn't ignore. So that's the reason we want to say it's time to go back to China. Let's join this wave and see how far it will carry us.
Amazing, amazing story. I'm again curious to know how the Zapya name came from. It's a very kind of interesting name. And what's the history behind the Zapya name?
Yeah, basically is our technology utilizes Wi-Fi to replace Bluetooth. And Bluetooth, the phrase in Chinese is ya. So we came up with a name in Chinese called a fast tooth, faster than Bluetooth. And because of the last syllable is ya, so we try to find a name that can rhyme with the Chinese name ya. And also because this is a product that people use in close proximity to send something to you. It's almost like, hey, here's a file, I'm gonna zap to you. So that's why we came up with the name Zapya. Ya in American English also means you. So it can zap you. I have a file, I'm gonna zap to you. So that was the meaning of a Zapya.
Oh, very meaningful, very inspiring. So you made your bet, almost like going back to China and doing all this, and then hopefully you are saying it's working out, so that's it. I'm sure you have gone through many challenges when you start from zero, and entrepreneurship life is like this roller coaster. So
oh yeah, absolutely.
Share with us some high ends and some low ends in your entrepreneurial life at Zapya, and how you recover from the low to go back high, because you have to self-motivate every day. Because the people at Zapya who are using it, they're probably watching, and many other friends are watching around the world. They want to know the life is never like this. There's always like this. Okay, it's a reality of life. So tell us how you.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time we went back to China, that was the end of 2011. So we were fortunate to recruit a group of engineers. All came out of a similar background from telecommunication and networking industry. So we are the type of people that were not originally from internet industry. So we are a telecom networking engineers, try to solve a connection problem, try to solve a file transfer problem. So, but we were fortunate to recruit a group of talented engineers and also a group of very talented designers. So that was the high end. We had a really strong team to start with, and also a good marketing team from China market. So by 2012, in June, that's the time we released our first product. So we had a goal to release as soon as possible. So everybody was a focus with the same determination to do something, because this is something when we first started, we made a demo. So, I take a picture and it'll take a video, and you have a phone, and we can just make a gesture like this or like this, and your phone will get the picture or the video that I took from my phone. So that was kind of amazing, and we want to make this very easy to use and leverage on the existing Wi-Fi capability on the phone. So everybody has a focused target. So we were able to push through. That was the high end. I look back, I really enjoyed that period of time. We released in 2012 in June. So then at the end of the June, exact date is June 21st. Then in the summer, in the July, in the August, we had a pretty high hope to see how this will help the user. Maybe the user will flock in, but actually the growth was relatively slow, for July, for August, for September. So then we kind of start to question ourselves, are we solving a real pain? Why is no one really kind of jump onto this? So then we start to see maybe we need to explore some other options to add more features. And while we were doing that, we also try to support kind of cross-platform. We added the support for iPhone right away back in 2012. And then we didn't do much marketing. By November time, by October and November, the user numbers started to rise much faster. Hey, we didn't do much. What happened? It's just kind of going up. And then we came with a theory. Because the nature of our product is for people that they are going to do this kind of private sharing in a closed group. So typically with multiple people in the group sharing mode. And that kind of people most likely is probably the students community. And if that's true, if that theory is correct, then the time of our release was incredibly bad time. We released at the end of June, just before the summer starts, where everybody leaves. So that was the reason, the number was not growing as fast as we wanted. So we kind of, we probably released the product at the worst possible time in the year. And so that was the theory. And then say, okay, maybe this is the group we should really focus on. So we redesigned the product and add a bit more gaming capability to target toward this group of users. And by next year, we think we have the theory, so we want to use a number to verify whether the theory is correct. And then next year, it went through the same cycle. It was going fine. Then during the summertime, it came down a little bit, become soft. Then after the summer, it went back again. So that's the number made us to believe, okay, our core user is the student community. So now looking back, is okay, that was probably not a very smart way to release the product before the beginning of the summer school. And then by 2012, the end, and 2013, we experienced a tremendous growth in China market. And at that time, the mobile data charge was quite expensive in China. So that people, the way they use a smartphone is for the first half of the month, they use, browse the internet, you use all the mobile data, and by the second half, it's, no more money. Okay, I'm going to stop using the mobile data and try to, conserve as much as possible. Then our capability, the app, allows the user to make a connection with the people nearby, and the smartphone has enough rich media, photo, video, music, they can share with their friends nearby without going through the internet. It's totally offline sharing. So that was something that people never experienced this before, and really solved their pain point. And this is how we actually created this whole file sharing sector within this Android platform. Then later on, we expanded to support iPhone, Windows, and later on Windows PC, Windows Phone, and Mac. So, and another example probably is Downtown is we also try to expand this even further, that we hope this initially was serving for people to use offline. We want to make sure they can find, discover contents from people's phone nearby, and everybody can gather people together to share. So we created another separate product, and that was called Kuaina, and we hope that would attract more users. But at that time, we made some mistake of not able to connect to the internet and using some chat messaging platform to group the people together. So in the end, people can find contents, but they cannot really retrieve the contents. So that was not quite successful. So we learned some lesson of that, and based on lesson we learned, and we modified the product, rebuilt it into the current Zapya. So added this more contents into Zapya, also make this more accessible. So those were the lessons we learned, and we keep learning from the mistakes, try to keep improving the product. So, and we are kind of really focused in this industry. We have been doing this since 2012, almost 5 years. So now, as I mentioned, we support all the platforms, and every month we keep making the releases on every single platform as much as we can to adding more features and more features. So every day we see that there's a need of doing this type of sharing, because sharing is just a human nature. If you have something fun, something good you want to share with your friends, and if you have a nice photo, nice video, and nice audio, you want to keep it for yourself, and then you want to share the joy with the people around you. So that's what Zapya is all about, for people in the close group to do the sharing the files, sharing the fun.
Thank you so much. Sharing is caring. Whenever you find something, if you're watching this and enjoying it so far, and keep watching and share it with your friends and your groups wherever you're from, because they can enjoy the story. Look at, I'm sure Steve is actually sharing the failures of his bumper roller coaster. First time in a video interview with someone, I can tell from his face. So as we continue, thank you so much. Your failure was knowing the market. You have to know your market, when they are there to use, when they are not using. It's like on season and off season. So you are learning the on and off season of your market as you are building the product. So it was not really a failure. It was a chance for you to know your market, basically. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct. We learned the hard way. Yes.
It was not a hard way. You know, Thomas Edison invented the light. He failed 10,000 times. That's what he said. I found 10,000 ways it doesn't work. He didn't say I lost, you know. Otherwise, we will be sitting in the dark. We couldn't even do this interview.
Exactly. Another thing I think to be an entrepreneur, and I think probably the one most important thing is follow the trend. Spot the trend, you know, expect how long the time will go, and you may not know exactly what you will achieve at the beginning, but if you follow the trend, and the trend is more like riding the wave will take you to a level that you probably never expected. So that's how we started. You know, we did not really have a clear picture on what we will be a year from the time we started, or 3 years away from the time we started, but we know the trend is a smartphone is going to be big. It's going to be a huge wave. This is a technology wave that's going to impact every single person. Because my background was in communication. That was back in 1996. There was a bubble back in 2000. Probably remember the first internet 1.0. And after the bubble busted, the telecommunication equipment industry remained idle for a long time. But the internet industry started with the web 2.0, with a company like Google, like Facebook, it exploded. So I was staying on the sideline in the telecom industry for a long time, and then always say, maybe I should go get into the internet industry. But then when the mobile internet comes, when the smartphone comes, this is a technology convergence of the phone and the internet. So this is, to us, is a wow. You know, this is the converging trend. This is not something just come as a fashion that's going to be out of the fashion maybe a year or 2 years later. But this is the conversion from 20 years of technology development, back from the IC, from PC world. So this is a trend that will continue for a very long time. So we have to be part of this trend, even though we did not have a very clear picture where we will be, you know, along this wave, but we want to be in this wave.
However, your heart was clear. You really wanted to solve the challenge. And biggest challenge in startup is how to find the co-founders and become like in a ground partners together. So you have 3 partners. Here's my question. How did you find them? Skill complements or like a same skills or whatever, and how you can actually teach someone, share your experience of finding a co-partner and still working as a co-partner and co-founders, how someone other startups who are watching it around the world, how they can find the co-founders in their startup. Because if you don't have the right partner, let me tell you, it's not going to work out. You have to have, the first thing is the most critical is how you find the co-founder in your company.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. This is probably the most critical. If you want to start something, find the people that can work with and work for a long time. For me, I was fortunate that one of the co-founder of this company, he is the leading person who started this whole project. And his name is Frank Wang, is our CEO, and I'm the current Senior Vice VP. And he was a serial entrepreneur. He started multiple companies before, and he sold his company to a American public company. So he was an entrepreneur in residence at one of the very influential VC fund in China. So he had the opportunity to research the market and look around for the next opportunity. And it just happened to be that I have been working in the telecommunication networking industry for more than 15 years. And I was not, a company I worked for is a small startup company working on wireless, it's a Wi-Fi mesh. And that was the same industry that my co-founder, Frank Wang, was involved as well. So we knew from our previous job. So we knew each other. So I was recruited, and also not just 3 of us, actually a group of people. We had a weekly meeting to research, is there something we can do? Because now with the big mobile internet comes. So when we started, we had a dedicated meeting. We don't have an office. We found a place that we can meet at least twice a week. And every time we meet, we designate a research area for you. So every time we meet, we open our laptop, probably just 3 to 10 pages of a PPT. Okay, I'm going to research on this particular, say, the Wi-Fi technology called Wi-Fi Direct. I'm going to know everything about Wi-Fi Direct and present to our, kind of partners at that time. And so everyone teaches something. So we actually change direction multiple times based on the available technology and what we can do. We try to find our talent and the market, try to find a fit. So that whole experience went on for a month. Every week we meet for 2 days a week. So we explored for the whole horizon of a newer technology that's coming out and see where we can find our strength and our fit. So that is a very critical. And also this whole process itself is also a way to test the working relationship among the potential partners. So in the end, we started probably about 5 people initially. And in the end, by the time we come to a decision, come to a direction we want to pursue, and we get a funding, but we have to make the commitment that, even though our family is still back in Silicon Valley, we need to go to China. So that's a huge commitment. And we're working in China for a long time. So then, probably only 3 of us actually becoming the core team that really want to do this. So that's how we started. Starting from a group of people, researching multiple industry, multiple areas, finally narrow down, focus on one particular direction, and the team also consolidate, solidify to just 3 people. And this is just our experience. I don't know, this may or may not apply to other people, but
it's amazing. The key word is focus. Okay, focus and find partners with who complement your skill set, not with the same skill set. So everyone is in certain areas. And the third thing I learned from you is the group study with the accountability partners. You don't want to be silos. Okay, work as a group study. Here I focus on this, you focus on this, and then each one present to each other and then ask, because you're under peer pressure, hey, I have to perform well here, otherwise I will be out from this one. And when you're group studying how much they share, how they communicate, you will find out if this is will be right fit or not for me. Is that right? That's everything will be tested.
Yes, absolutely, because every one of us has a specialty in certain area, but also everyone has a limitation to acquire as much of knowledge and expertise in other areas. So this group study really help us to look beyond our own limitation, to learn more about the whole horizon of potential technology, different sectors. And then once we know, one person knows something, then they can teach to the other members in the group. So we all know about this area. Then we slowly narrow down to the point that we can find our strength to create something that can really penetrate into this market. So
thank you so much. That leads us to next question is very simple. Imagine your younger brother or a sister want to be entrepreneur, and you are just sharing your life lesson as being an entrepreneur to a top 3, like a cheat sheet lessons which they can implement when they start, or if they already started, they can fix their direction. What are the top 3 things you want to share to a prospective entrepreneur who is watching you to fix their line, so that way they can go from 0 to hero just like you are? You are the role model for entrepreneurs.
Well, I will start with it. Definitely, you have to build your expertise in one particular area. Yeah. And sometimes, everybody wants to start a company, grow as big as Google, as Facebook, but it all depends on, one is expertise, second is the trend, and third is definitely determination to do it, commitment. And in terms of expertise is, just as I mentioned in the group study, you know something, you're good at the sales, you're good at the engineering, this one's probably good at marketing. So you need to have your expertise, and this takes years of experience to do. And if there's no clear probably startup opportunities available, you're still kind of browsing for ideas. Focus on one area, so you become an expert in this area. Because I was recruited by our CEO was because I spent years of experience in making telecommunication equipment. And I spent 7 years of my time working on Wi-Fi technology. So if someone want to come up with something with the Wi-Fi, I feel that I'm probably very qualified to explore and to explain, and even for myself to get involved too. So definitely be an expert in one particular area. And second is, you need to watch the market and spot the trend. because never go against the trend, always follow the trend, but where the trend goes, that's very critical. Some trend may be as a fashion, something may be very hot, but then go out of fashion the next year. So, but to be an entrepreneur, you need to devote your time, probably 5 years of your time, 10 years of your time on one particular direction. You definitely want to focus on an area that will show growth. So this is, for us, the trend is mobile internet, that's number one. And second is we believe at that time, based on everything we knew, that Android platform is going to be bigger than iOS. Yeah. Number one is because our prior experience, we went through 1980s. I probably used to still remember when the PC and the Mac was in competition.
Yeah.
Mac was excellent, Steve Jobs was a genius, but Mac was a closed system. And Windows PC was an open system. Lots of PC compatible computers were in the market. So the size, just the sheer size of the Windows PC is much bigger than Mac. So the same thing applied in the mobile internet age with the iPhone, even though they started pretty early and Android started later. But Android has this open system architecture. So we figured back in 2011, it will be bigger than iPhone. So, and also when Android started with their operating system, we also saw the reason we do this file sharing and file management was that Android did not do a good job in terms of filling this gap. So there is a window opportunity for companies like us to focus on tools, productivity. And once we fill the gap, then we can get a step into this mobile internet. So this is our way, our ticket to join this trend. So this is based on our expertise, based on our knowledge of Wi-Fi. Also, we know that Wi-Fi technology will continue to improve. The time we started was back in 2011. And we knew based on our prior experience that Wi-Fi Direct will be another technology come around, maybe 2 years or 3 years later. So we released our product back in 2012. A year later, Android announced their Wi-Fi Direct. That was a year later after we did. So also for close proximity connection, but it was only Android to Android. Then 2 years later, 2014, iPhone released AirDrop between phone to phone and phone to Mac. So they came out this same idea, but 2 years later than us. And the AirDrop is only iPhone to iPhone, and we can achieve iPhone to Windows to PC, so cross-platform. So the trend is definitely, trend is your friend. Go find the trend. So that's very critical. But third is definitely running a startup. It takes tremendous amount of energy, determination. Because as you mentioned earlier, they will be up, they will be down, and it's going to be a very competitive space. And the moment, especially in China market, even though it's a huge, the moment we released, within probably 3 months, there are close to 10 similar competitors. And there's one particular competitor was even a partner when we were discussing potential partnership, but they said, wow, that was a good idea. And then they went back and they made something similar. And so that was extremely competitive. But even up to these days in this whole industry, probably 3 or 4 companies still remaining. There were like 10, 20 other competitors. Those are the ones, they're just copycats. They look at something hard, they try to do it, but they are not determined to continue to put energy into it. We started with the Android that was it was not that difficult to do. And then we added the iPhone that adds more kind of barrier to the entry. Then we supported Windows PC. It's like not many companies have the capability of engineers to can support Android, iOS, and Windows PC. Then we supported Mac, then we supported this kind of web-based file sharing tool. So it's many other companies, they just drop out. So there's no way to compete with this group of people. They just keep doing on this, keep adding more capability to build a barrier higher and higher. So that's why if you decide to do something, there will be competitors, there will be people copy from your ideas. But if you are determined and you make yourself an expert, you personally have to be an expert in your domain. For a company, you have to be an expert in this industry. And this is the barrier. This is how building a moat for you to survive.
Thank you. Let's do a quick recap. You have to have deep understanding of what you do. Skill set has to be very deep. And then you have to, second thing is know your market. You have to know how to perform. And third thing is you have to be determined and persistent.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So, Steve, let me ask you a follow-up question to this. Steve, if you get the chance to start this all over again, what would you do differently?
Well, this is a very good question because a lot of time I've been asking this myself, even with our management team, and because even though we have a large user base, but I do not consider that we are successful. There are many other companies, even some of our competitors, doing very successfully. So now looking back, I feel that what we can probably do better, I wish, is still stay focused. If you start in particular field, is the field that you think you can make an impact, you probably solve a pain point. And if that's something really people are popular or people are actually going to use it, there will be a lot more people joining this competition. But you really need to stay focused, try to establish yourself to be the, I'm not saying the dominant position, but to be the best, the one that the folks the most in this particular industry. Just for example, just like Google is doing in search, like Facebook is doing in social media, like Apple is doing in consumer electronics. So if you decide to do something, focus, and if there's a competition, face the competition, do not run away, do not try to do something more to circumvent the situation, try to do something new, because with the focus, especially in the market, to establish yourself, to create this brand. And when people think of your name, they know exactly what you do because you are so focused. You're the only one that doing this the best. And that is an asset. So looking back, because we had some up and down, we had to sometimes, diverge, went into a wrong path and came back. And that sometimes, in my view, is consumed a little bit too much of our time and resources. Looking back, I really wish that we'd have been focusing on the direction we started with. Only after you establish yourself, after a couple of years of hard work, and then you have a large user base, you have a very successful, mature product, then it's time to explore something new, or maybe with a small group of people to explore something new. Do not try to make some strategic exploration while you are still small. Stay focused. That is something I wish we have done that. If that's happened, we probably will be in a much better position.
Thank you. So today's word is focus. F-O-C-U-S. You can see it on the screen. That's what you need to focus on. Is focus on yourself first. Self-awareness as everything. Steve, I almost we are about to finish, and here is my most favorite question in this whole interview. That is, I'm going to ask you something as a favor. I need your yes first before I can ask the question, so that will protect my confidence. I wish you know that how to ask for a raise, because they can get a yes from you, then ask for a raise. So I'm going to ask for a yes first, please. Please give me a yes so I can continue with the interview.
Okay. Absolutely, Mr. Siddique. Absolutely, I'll give a yes.
Thank you so much. I really mean it. What we need to do is I need 3 hours of your volunteer time. I am going to pay you 0.
Okay.
I want you to volunteer 3 hours of your time. Here's what that is. Let me give you a backdrop for the. As you may be aware of, I am the author of the LEG formula. The LEG formula, L starts for learning. Remember your days when you were studying in the US?
Yes, learning.
And
yes.
E starts with earning. Then you need to apply that knowledge and earn it.
That's right. Yes.
And then the G stands for giving back.
Okay.
Learning, earning,
that's
and giving back. That is the formula of life. That's how we make it the next upcoming world better place to live in for our children, grandchildren, and this whole things continue. And I'm asking for a giving back 3 hours of your volunteer time. Here's what's going to happen. We get hundreds of startups from around the world, especially from my homeland. I'm originally from Pakistan. Okay, I live in the US. This is my homeland right now. My motherland is Pakistan because that's where I born. So we want to bring all the startups from Pakistan in an online forum like this. where you can actually advise them, guide them, inspire them so they continue and stay focused. And there's a little challenge. Your one answer to their question can really have impact another Zapya anywhere in the world. And you know, we are, I really mean to, I'm not asking what you do it or not, because I already got your yes, thank you so much. That really mean a lot.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, first, I absolutely agree with this concept, this is spirit, learning, earning, and give back. Of course, I do not consider myself to be successful at this point. I'm still in the middle of learning. I'm still in the middle of applying the earning part. But I'm absolutely willing to share my experience. I will not say give a lecture on someone what to do, but mostly to share my ups and downs. And hopefully this may be useful to some people. And hopefully they may help them to avoid some of the mistakes or some of the traps I have gone through. Because I myself also had the fortune that during my time of doing this entrepreneur, there were some more experienced people shared their experience to me that helped me to grow. So I'm absolutely for this giving back to community, because I myself is also a Berkeley alumni. I participated in alumni association and also hosting events to help the young people, and also inviting some people from my peers also to give their experience, life experience, back to the younger generation. And I'm already doing that. And thank you for asking me again. This is this is the same spirit. I totally agree. And as I mentioned, 3 hours of time, I would dedicate my time to do so.
Thank you so much again. This is your opportunity to talk to your Zapya users through this interview, because you may not have met them in person. You can't meet 480 million people. What would you like to talk to this is your opportunity to meeting my friends around the world, where you will get new partnerships, new joint ventures with your company, and new users working who are going to install your Zapya. It's a great application. Go ahead and install it anyway, okay? So what would you say to your users, your friends, community of Zapya using your application?
Well, first, I just want to say the users, the potential users, and we're really grateful for you to select our app among all the other choices that you have, and make this a part of your life, and make this part of your way to interact with your friends. We are glad to be part of your life, and also we are very glad that many of you give us feedbacks on how to improve our products further. And we listen, we hear your feedback, and we are building into the product where we're adding more features into this. We hope you will enjoy. Coming along the way, probably in the beginning of next year, we're going to have some new products coming out, and that we're going to expand just from the pure file sharing tool. We're going to build on top of this social circle you already share within your group of friends, that we're going to add more features that can make it more useful to you, make it more fun, and basically it's just to enrich your experience of sharing with your closer ones.
Yeah, in short, Zapya is about to make your life easier, better, and faster. So stick with Zapya, and they really, really appreciate your trust in them. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, Steve, thank you so much for sharing this. And as we do want to end the interview on a light note, is there something special at your company which you have not shared with us so far, which really builds a bond between different religions, different people of different countries together? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, there's something I definitely want to share, that Zapya, probably as some of the users in Pakistan know, has a large user base in Pakistan. And even, that China and Pakistan has such a strong relationship. In Chinese, there's a term called Bhatia that literally means Pakistan closely, strongly bonded. That's the word to describe the relationship between Pakistan and China. And there are so many Pakistani students studying in China, in Beijing, and we had the fortune to have 2 and some of the 3 Pakistani students working for us as an intern, and they helped us tremendously. And we also help us to establish a closer bond with the Pakistani students community in Beijing. Just give one example. In this year, in June, during the Ramadan period of time, we actually hosted a party in our office. We invited over 200 Pakistani students in Beijing, welcome into our office, and we had the food ready, prepared, and especially for myself, to respect the culture and the religious, the observation of this holiday, and they enjoyed after in the evening. So that was a tremendous experience for myself and also for our users and our friends. So we have such a strong bond with the Pakistani student community, and because I myself, and as a company, speaking on behalf of the company, we are very grateful for our fans, our users from Pakistan, and we had the fortune to have someone actually working inside the company and help us to build this closer bond. So just want to say to the friends of Pakistan, thank you, for supporting us, and also we want to build a product better to serve you as well.
Thank you so much, Pakistan-China friendship, CPAC, and this is another CPAC of entrepreneurship, okay? And
Yes.
That's the real Pakistan. That's the real, the young talent is actually really helping you. In fact, we are on this interview because of your global marketing manager, Pakistani, your employee or whoever that.
Exactly.
He spotted this one, like, hey, I'm a good host. That's what he told me. I didn't know that. So he is telling Steve, you need to get on this with this guy with the gray hair and red shirt. So that's why we are in this interview. See, when you have a good people working in your team, they are looking for every opportunity to help your company. That's again focus and loyalty to the company. That's how you grow. You need people with the focus and loyalty to the company. So as we wrap up, Steve, what would you say as a final word?
Final word, we definitely hope that Zapya will be a tool and also a friend that will make your life easier, faster to share everything in your life, all the moments with your closer relatives, closer friends. This is the life experience. Everything we do, we find joy in sharing. And Zapya want to be part of your sharing.
Yes, thank you so much. Joy of sharing. So sharing is caring. Please share this interview with your friends so that way you can inspire them. And my today's final word is focus, focus, focus. Okay?
Yes.
Without a focus, you can't do anything. So that's it. So on the behalf of my community and entire world, people who want to prosper this world and will live with peace, I want to say thank you so much sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of whole Pakistan and the entire committee. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia, wishing you good luck, good sales. I do have a path across again with another amazing guest. Until then, take care.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great honor.